Hello and welcome to the Full Force the Full Force News Burst Live unboxing of this beauty today. Yes, I'll be getting stuck into Mad Marauders Gabriel Barbecue Kelly from the Classified series. Of course, yes. I've been looking forward to this one. I don't think there's going to be loads of people. I'm randomly at 11:37 of a random Thursday morning. I hope you're ready for this one, guys. If you are watching, throw obviously a like on the video and throw us a comment, question, whatever you want to do. Interact as much as you like, and I'll talk back every now and again. But yes, this is what I'm doing today, getting stuck into the third of 5 of these particular Classified series wave unboxings. I'm very slow. I'm being really slow at the moment. I've got so much more to get through. We've still got Outback to look at. We've still got CoverGirl to look at. And then once those are out of the way, that wave of 5, I have 2 new retro figures to look at in Storm Shadow and Zartan. And then beyond that, there's the whole Super 7 wave that randomly appeared at my doorstep the other day. So as soon as I find out who sent them to me, I'll be doing a Super 7 Wave 1 unboxing as well. But for now, for today, this is all about Mad Marauders Barbecue. Hello, Christopher McLeod. Yes, you are first. I hope you're enjoying the show. I don't expect a massive amount of people to be able to watch this one today. Apologies for the time. I just kind of have to do it when I can do it. And right now, I can just about do it. So without further ado, let us transition into a more palatable scenario. And that's just not having my name in the corner of the screen. Right, Mad Marauders. So let's first off, the artwork is stunning. I love this artwork. And again, the name escapes me, but this one's quite well known because the artist was at SDCC signing prints of this artwork, the Marauders version. And I feel terrible for forgetting the name again. Someone will let me know in the comments eventually, I would hope. But I love this barbecue artwork. It's so good. I want to say it's the same artist that does those beautiful comic covers that have got the fire and the crackle and everything around them. And it's just left my brain. I should have written that one down beforehand, but unfortunately I've completely forgotten. So the artist anyway is really well known and awesome, and I love this barbecue artwork. Now this is slightly altered deco wise to match the new Slaughter's Marauders, or the Mad Marauders deco that they've gone with, and obviously it was the same as his original orange version, which I have here today. Look, so we're going to be doing some comparisons with old orangey ready barbecue over here. I was going to do a silly joke. If it's such a nice day out, I thought I'd have a barbecue, which technically is what's happening. And it is a gorgeous day outside. It's very sunny at the moment today. Anyway, that's the front art. And we've also got the new logo on there, which I'm going to get a nice close-up of, cut out and use for any Marauders related news going forward, because that is a beautiful logo. I really do like that. Simple as well, because it's just like the Joe star and stripes whipping across, as you can see, with the Mad written on there and then Marauders underneath. I do like that though. I like all of the new modern logos they've come up with. I really do enjoy that. Obviously, we've got the artwork that follows all the way to the left-hand side of the box. If you were the box, it's the left-hand side of the box. And then on the other side, we've got number 58 and all of his abilities. Now, his abilities are interesting. There's a little dagger in there. Is he a martial artist? Is this Ninja Force barbecue? And then obviously that, which I guess is Dr. Mindbender style Jekyll and Hyde laboratory work. And he loves traveling, which is great. I'm kidding. I'm gonna actually check the website one of these days and actually go through these and go, oh, all right, yeah, he's got that and that and that. But yeah, I haven't been on that website for so long. They've stopped updating it. So there's the top with the star logo and the 58, and of course the legal Gump on the bottom, and then on the back we have the figure renders looking very nice in that deco, and there he is with all his accessory that he comes with. Pretty sure it's the same loadout and of course this is mainline and the original was mainline, so there shouldn't be any differences there. Sometimes when we get exclusives, we do have that situation where they will cut a few accessories out, like the Python Patrol Viper not having the neckerchief. There are more as well that I can't think off the top of my head. There's a few others examples of that. So in this case, I'm glad that he's got all of his gear. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the back of the box. Gabriel Barbecue Kelly, and we might as well get stuck inside it already. A question, highly articulated. Hello, Adam. Do you think the MM and the leaked codenames will indicate more Mad Marauders, or is it just a coincidence? I don't think MM means that. Not that I like. Not that I know. I think just from a. And this is genuine. I have no idea what MM stands for. If I did, I would say I knew and couldn't tell you. But I literally do not know what it stands for. I don't think it's Mad Marauders, though. I just have a feeling it's not that, and it's something more basic, or a change of coded system information to keep us on our toes, or to keep it unspoiled, shall we say? Because I know there are vehicles in there, so it could denote that is like a line or a way, because there's 2 vehicles in that particular group of MM listings, and I think that it could indicate an exclusive setup, but it could also indicate that it's the main line and they're just dropping 2 vehicles in, like absolute crazy pants. So for those that can't see what I'm doing there, I'm just cutting the tape on either side with this wonderful little slice mechanism. It's really cool. It's just got this little ceramic blade that sticks out, and it is like, it's fine. It won't hurt or cut you or anything. See, no blood. I'm fine. But it cuts that stuff. No worries. It's well good. So yes, Adam. I don't think it means Mad Marauders, but if it does, awesome. And we're getting loads of Mad Marauders redecos, especially if one of the vehicles was Sarge and his Triple T. That'd be sick. We know they're doing Sarge and the Triple T, don't we? Or rumored for the crossover, the Transformers collaborative line. That would be incredible. So I just pop the old lid off as well. Okay. Adam says, I love that you call out the abilities the same as I do. I know, but do you like that I make them up? Because even though I kind of do know what they are, because I've been on that website loads and I studied that page for ages, I still prefer to make them up because it's funnier. So he's a ninja, he is a Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde scenario, and he loves traveling, is what I got from mine. And that one is just, I don't know, he gets a badge for being a Joe. Hello, Todd. Full force to you as well. Diana's on the elliptical again. Brilliant. Working out with the full force. It should be like a thing that I do for people. MM being Mad Marauders would be far too obvious to me for a proper code name. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what it means, Adam, but I don't think it will be Mad Marauders. That said, it could be, and then you'll be clipping this up and going, hey, told you. Right, so let's start then with Barbecue's accessories. Yes, that was magic, wasn't it? So we've got the number 58. This is the kind of mock weapons crate. We've got the Gabriel Barbecue Kelly on there with the little coded locking mechanism on there. You just go, you have to, oh, we should do this. We should go beep, 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 beep. What do you think his code would be? What do you think Barbecue's code would be? Let us know in the comments. 999 for the UK and 911 for the US. That's what I think. I'll try 911 and see if it opens. Yep, that did it. It was 911. Hello, Ryan, you cheese bag. How you doing? I make them all up. Someone had the ability of loves basketball, but I can't even remember the actual icon. I think I know exactly which one you mean, actually. I think I remember you saying that on one of your videos that you did. Okay, so I'm opening the weapons crate, which we've seen these before. It's blue this time, and it's just got all of the details on it, and the fake handles, the fork handles, and then the front we've already seen, and the top we've already seen. Okay, done. Opening that up. Yeah, just the legal gumph inside. No one cares about the legal gumph. No one does. And we've got the same old kind of like 2 sheets of paper fused together to create a crisp packet or a chip bag. Again, I realize I'm dealing with multiple nations, not just 2, but multiple. Whatever you want to say, or however you want to call it, you call it what you want. It's all good with me. Okay, so nothing else in there, we have, oh, that's nice. I love it in that color. I won't start with that one because that's too fancy. Let's start with the stuff we've already seen, kind of in very similar. I think it's the same color. Might be a little darker gray in the plastic. I just had a little comparison of the two. There's the pistol, the kind of like water squirter. I don't know what it is, foam. And for the original there, let me just kind of get these next to each other in the middle of the screen for you. Now, it looks very similar, doesn't it? I don't think there's much difference there, but the one on my right hand, the one on the here, this one, the new one, does look a little bit darker, doesn't it? It might be the lighting, but as I look at them, I might just be seeing things. It's exactly the same, I think. I think it's exactly the same. No big deal. No big deal. Did they ever confirm? Oh, Gaz says, did they ever confirm if those cardboard lockers was an homage to Sigma 6? I don't think they did. I don't think they ever said anything directly that it was a Sigma 6 thing. I think they just wanted to do something, in box to make it a little more interesting. But Sigma 6 is definitely an inspiration on that front anyway. I don't know what anyone says. Those weapon crates were phenomenal. The plastic ones, either top and bottom, that would then combine to create the weight with the foam inserts that would go inside. That was the most genius packaging, because I still have those crates from the Sigma 6 figures I bought when I was that age. Not a kid, but that age. Anyway, we've also got, but yes, Gal, I don't think they've confirmed that was the direct inspiration, but I'm pretty sure it has to be in there, The wiper is coming, says Ryan Daly. Amazing. You got crisp packets. Good, Diana. I'm glad you did. Of course, yeah. I mean, the immersion of the kind of the fact that we have American TV in the UK and you have UK stuff in the US. You're gonna see that crossover every now and again, aren't you? Right, axe. So there's the axe, the big one, and it looks to be a bit different. So this axe has got more kind of like chromy, silvery paint on it, all the way to the hilt, you could say. Now, either that was done as like to make it a little bit different, to make it a little bit more interesting, or they just didn't put the mask on properly and painted the whole thing and then had to paint all the way up to the edge. But I do like the fact that we've got like another different type of axe based on just having a slightly different, deco on it. That's wicked. Right, now I've got to remember which one is which here. And I've dropped it, so now I don't. In my right hand is the new axe, the new little axe with the little kind of knuckle duster around it. So how I can describe that. And this is the old one. Again, they look pretty similar. There's a slight difference in how the paint is applied. I guess towards the bottom of the tip of the axes. And if I get it in the right light, then you can see they're both the same color. So these are pretty much identical. No, actually, no. I can see it better than you can on screen, but the new one is a darker black color. So that is, and it's quite significant. I don't think you can see it on screen necessarily, but this one here is darker than this one. I'm not sure if you can see that. The chrome is slightly misleading because it's in the light in the wrong angle. So it looks like it's dark, but it's not. But this is actually a little bit darker plastic. So at least I know that that's that one. The other axe, you can tell the difference, completely. So that's fine. And let me put that back on barbecue so I don't start getting them confused. And the hose, as he drops it, Thundercats, hose, is, I think, pretty much exactly the same as this one as well. Yeah, there's no difference there. Again, you can't, well, there you go. You can see that it's basically exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So that's cool. I'm glad I've got my barbecue for comparison this time. I always forget that usually. Hello, Cully. How are you doing, buddy? And the last bit of the last accessory, the final accessory, I'll get to in a second. There's other stuff I've got to get to here. James Kerr just got a shipment of prawn cocktail in the mail. Yum. Amazing. You mean crisps, I guess, James. Awesome. Love a bit of prawn cocktail crisp. Amazing. The axe isn't as edgy, says Diana. Amazing. Super Cyan Berserk says, Chris, in how many years do you think Classified will change their style for modern real life, like Resolute instead of vintage? Probably once they've got through everything they feel they can do. What I imagine, because like rock and roll, you could say, is not really in the vintage style at all, really. You could argue there's a few like that. Torpedo's got a lot of updates on him that kind of take him out of the vintage, but there's obviously a lot of callbacks to the vintage. There's a few recent figures that would suggest they're going to start mixing that up a bit rather than just have everything the same. One character is going to get a little bit of an upgrade or a little bit of a change. And obviously the ones that have already had their vintage figure and will no doubt, being in the core family of Joe's, no doubt they'll have more things going forward. We might see those characters done slightly differently, if that makes sense, Super Cyan. They'll probably just take homage and like ideas from the things that we all know and love already. So like the vintage era, obviously, which is pretty strong theme at the moment. Pursuit of Cobra, which does get dipped into quite often. And then a random, completely new update in Shadow Tracker, which is from Pursuit of Cobra, but at the same time doesn't resemble that original figure very much. So yeah, to answer your question, they're probably just going to mix it up a bit and have different ones here, there, and everywhere. This is the first time you've seen his hose, Diana. Didn't know it was ribbed. Yeah, for everyone's pleasure. I think that some characters won't work as well as real life versions. True. You have to kind of keep... Yeah, I agree with that. I think some are just, you know, destined to be the vintage version. Anyway, his final accessory. You're welcome, Super Cyan. No worries. You don't have to thank me. I appreciate it, though. That is Barbecue's backpack. I love that blooming color. Looks gorgeous on the canister backpack, doesn't it? Love it. And the little tampo there. Now let's see if it's the same. No, there's a different. There's one less tampo than the original. The kind of warning triangle is missing, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm not sure if they just decided against that, or it was like, you know, maybe mine's an error. You never know. I can have a little variant package, like, you know, tampo error on mine. Tampo error sounds like a Brazilian martial art. But cool, isn't it? I know it's not, and I know what I'm thinking of, but you know, it's a joke. So there's his backpack, and again, you can see the difference there. I like the fact I can do these comparisons immediately. It's great, isn't it? Yes, Supdon says must not be as dangerous. I like that one. I like that one a lot. It's like the original backpack is just full of acid, and this one is just like soapy water is in this one. Right, let's get to the point we've all been waiting for. Me to end this and you to go on with your lives. Just kidding. Mad Marauders does throw caution to the wind, Diana. Absolutely. What the hell is a tampo, says Christopher McLeod. A tampo is the technical term that you'll hear all the designers and you know, the people at Hasbro that make these things and toy industry in general use to describe a kind of like water decal or a decal that goes on. Some people call them decals, which makes me laugh a little bit, but each to their own. I know I know a lot of my Canadian friends use decals. I know Word Burglar calls them decals, and I know it's not just, you know, it's not just like country to country. I know it's like individual areas use different terminology in that sense, but that is effectively what a tampo is: a decal or a decal, as they say. Cheers. Sorry, I was getting a bit thirsty. Right. Mind the decals, madam. Yes, Gaz. Yes, actually, James, big time. This goes great with the release of the Sergeant Slaughter RPG book with the Marauders in it. Yes, the more Marauders, the better, because then I can do an RPG and play with the toys at the same time. They figured out the formula, Supdon. They certainly did. Right. So anyway, that's my insider knowledge on what a tampo is. You're welcome, Christopher McLeod. You're welcome. Right, here we go. We were all ready for this. This is my favorite part of the episode, and also nerve-wracking because I don't know what to expect. Or do I? It's Barbecue. There he is in his tray. The little, hang on, there we go. Little cardboard bit kind of unhooked. There he is in his tray, looking rather swanky in that gorgeous deco. Now, I know this is one of those things where, you know, some people don't like Tiger Force because it's a little bit weird and flashy. And I know some people don't like the Marauders because the decos are on the vintage figures are interesting. They are a bit weird. But the original, I think the in the UK we had low light. We didn't have the Marauders as a sub team, but we did have a low light figure in that deco, in the Marauders deco. Now, if you were to look at the UK or Europe, it might have been a European exclusive low light next to the American Marauders figure, you can see a very subtle tone or shade difference in the color. And obviously a lot of that's to do with the plastic they use when creating it, but also I think the deco as well, the paint they use was slightly different too. Now, because of that, I had that low light. I didn't have the original low light. That was the low light I had, and therefore fell in love with that kind of striped deco where it was like, you know, like the brown and then the neon blue and then the green and then the other green. You know, that I just thought it was really interesting, right? So when when we heard that Marauders Barbecue was coming, I just got really excited and I was like, I can't wait to see what they do, because I doubt they're just going to go spray paint, spray paint, spray paint, spray paint. And they didn't. They have really kind of like worked in, kind of like taking into account remember the 7-pack that some of my friends were involved in making, actually, but like the 7-pack with the Slaughter's Marauders lineup that had like Falcon and Low Light and Barbecue and the Renegades, that was like a bit of an inspiration as well, in that like it didn't have to be just like the deco didn't have to be, you know, just slopped across in like a crazy drunk rainbow. They could do it so that it kind of, you know, was color breaks and like fell into certain areas and kind of made sense. And I like what they've done here. Like you've got like the subtle touches where the kind of blue just above the knees there, and the bright greens in the kind of the panels on his trousers, and then the rest of it is that kind of darker green color, which is really nice. And then the secondary has got like broken up a little bit. Now let's have a look at this barbecue, because there's another tampo, word of the day. It's kind of like Sesame Street, isn't it? There's another tampo they haven't added. In fact, there's a couple. I just noticed another thing. So on the front of the kind of like breathing apparatus chest piece, the little green dial is missing on the front there. So they've kind of gone against using that one. They haven't used the warning triangle on the backpack. And more surprisingly, they haven't given him his like special tampo, the kind of barbecue famous flavored tampo, which is almost like half a circular saw or a sunshine. It does look like it does look like a circular saw coming out the bottom of one of those table saw things, doesn't it? But yeah, so nothing on either. Oh, we've got the little pocket there, but nothing on this one either. So they've gone without the tampos or decals or decals or whatever you want to call it for this particular release, which I've got to say, like, you know, it's minor as hell, but it is a little disappointing, because I do like those touches, and I was kind of almost expecting a Marauders logo. I know I've seen the figure, I know it wasn't on there anyway, but like in my head, you know, prior to seeing all of the reveals for all the figures and everything, I was kind of hoping they would give them like a Marauders logo to rock, like a patch or something. And obviously there's a great opportunity to pop it right there. Maybe they did count on that. Maybe they had to cost it out. Many different reasons as to what was going on. Do you also like the fact that my hat is matching both this barbecue and this one today? Have you noticed that? The green Boba Fett chest plate for this lad and the orange cat thing like that. Completely done on purpose. Completely did that on purpose. Now, let's do a quick comparison of the two. As you can see them, there's no differences here at all. It's just a complete repaint, which is, you know, expected, and we all knew that anyway. I'm going to gear him up. I'm going to put all his gear on, and then we can see how he looks with all that. So first, check, does the backpack fit well? He says, concerned that it might not. No, that's in there. That's all I need. As long as it goes in and stays in, and then yeah, that's locked and loaded. Lovely stuff. Going to attach the hose. One on the bottom of the backpack here. he says, pulling the backpack out by accident, bump, and popping the pistol in the other one. I'll do this off screen because it's just awkward otherwise. And I'm going to pop that in his. I'm going to pop that in his little holster as well on the side, because I kind of like the thought of it just being there with the hose in the way all the time, and he's just kind of like getting annoyed because it's right there on his arm. But yeah, it's in his, it's holstered up and it's attached to his backpack. I do like those kind of features on these figures. I'm going to pop his mini axe in his side kind of like hook sheath thing on the side here, just as I've done with the original. And I'm also going to pop this axe in the back because he's got a little place for it on his backpack, which I've always liked. Again, I always thought that was a nice touch, having loads of options for all the gear to fit. Because I don't know, I like that about action figures, is if they can carry all their weapons and all their gear without actually having to hold anything. That is a serious bonus in my book. And there he is, all geared up. Axe in the backpack, just looking dope. Oh, God, I love this deco so much. And then there we go. There's the two of them together. Regular barbecue and irregular barbecue. Awesome stuff. So yeah, really, I've got to say, like, so let's go through all the kind of the pros and the cons. First off, I love the barbecue figure in general. This one is one of those ones that's kind of been in and around my general area where I work and all that kind of stuff at home, just because I love the character, I love the figure, and I really love everything about the update into classified. And I know a lot of people think it's just very slavish to the original vintage version, but like, I don't think you can really go wrong with that. And then of course, now we've got this beauty. Now, like I said, my love for Marauders stems from that low light I had as a kid in the UK, which, like I said, had the same deco, but there were differences. Very, very slight differences. Obviously, the stamp on the butt was different because it was produced in a different factory in a different country, and also like I said, the deco was slightly ever so slightly shady different. And you can see, if you go onto Yojo, you'll see that particular low light on their international section, and you can see they've got a comparison of the two on there as well. So that's where my love for Marauders stems from. And then when I found out there was a Marauders sub team and they were the colors on my low light, I was blown away, and I was kind of like, oh, cool, got to get them all. And I think I got any as a kid. Let's have a look what you're all saying. Ryan says, I always heard it pronounced as decal. Yes, and so did I, until I heard a number of people say decal, which made me laugh. Again, like I said, made me laugh, but then it's like, oh, wow, this isn't just you haven't just made a mistake. You haven't just called it a bargle instead of a bagel. Like, this is something that people do call decals decals, which is interesting. All planned, Diana, the hat and the decos, definitely. Ryan says, Chris, what percentage of that mold will be reused for airtight? Arms and legs only? More / less? Let's have a look. I think you're probably, well, with airtight, I think they're going to go, if they're going to go vintage with airtight, then he's actually going to be way more simplified in the arms and in the legs, I'd say, because this is Destro at the end of the day, isn't it? So I don't think they're going to use Destro for airtight. I could see them doing something new that then gets kind of utilized for other figures going forward. Baggier, not baggy, but I'm not talking like, you put your arms up and it's like wings, but like a little bit more kind of loose fitting arm texture and sculpt is what I'm looking for. Sculpt is the word I'm looking for. So I think they'd go for something far more simplified than the kind of complex Destro kind of design on Barbecue's arms and legs. I don't think any of this, bar maybe the hose, could be used for airtight, honestly. I think they'd probably do I'd like them to do like a balaclava with a removable helmet, but they've kind of gone over to especially with Barbecue, this is just a helmet. And I guess it would look a little massive, wouldn't it, if they tried to do one with a head inside it. But I think if it was airtight, I really do think there might be a good one to do where they've got that like almost like, not Eagle, Big Ben's alternate head that's got the gas mask on it. Take the gas mask off and just have his head exposed. That kind of thing with the airtight helmet on, I think would be a direction they could go in, because his helmet is big, so it's not like it needs to be kind of tight fitting or form fitting. Barbecues kind of does. Otherwise, it looks a little goofy. And this one is beautifully proportioned. I love it. So I would probably say less to answer your question, Ryan. And they're probably going to do something far more new for someone like Airtight, because even though I think what you could do is you could then utilize Airtight for other figures going forward, like the Eco Warriors stuff, and there are others that have kind of like almost like nuclear, biological, chemical kind of gear. So I would suggest that, Ryan, and they'll do a lot of new, honestly. And I can't imagine a world where we have to wait too much longer for Airtight. I know he's not like everyone's like top of the list, but my God, he'd make for a good figure. Just if you just go back to like Renegades, it was during the 30th anniversary, but that it was a Renegades carded figure. But when they brought that out, everyone went nuts for it. And then you've got possibly Lightfoot as well, and you've got other characters that have that kind of baggy kind of gear. So yeah, I definitely think they could go brand new and unique, and then reuse it for other figures going forward. Ryan says, I have always been a fan of Barbecue, but I have to say that the Mad Marauders version is my preferred one right now. Definitely. I love the deco. It looks really cool. I love what they've done. Again, like not going direct and just, the stripes just across, like they've just gone and like kind of broken the figure up in certain areas and panels and textures. So it makes sense what they've done, and I like that. Darren got yours today. Awesome. I hope you enjoy it. Yes. Version 1 colors for cooking meat on the barbecue, and this one for when he's doing all the vegetarian and vegan alternatives. I agree. And then he can, so I'll be ordering from this one. Right here. Some Impossible meat on there. Yeah, cheers, thanks. Hi, Jeremy. Looks awesome. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Looks fantastic. I'm really, really happy to have him now in hand and finally unboxed. This is what I have to do this. Like, this is the only, I get the figures, and instead of like most people just open them and enjoy them, and I'm like, I've got to do an unboxing. And then I have to wait until I can actually get the unboxing done and then finally get it. And I'm like, yes, it's finally in my hands. So I try and get the unboxings done as quickly as I can, but just purely from a selfish perspective. Okay, here's a question. James Kerr, now that Marauders and Tiger Force have figures, will we see some of the other sub-teams? Well, Night Force is already happening, isn't it, James? We know that thanks to the Big Ben and Range Viper reveals. So you can put Night Force is the next one to be getting their repaints or paints. You never know. There could be pre-paints in there. We could be getting Spearhead and Max or Charbroil, or who else is in there? Crazy Legs, Falcon and Lightfoot and all those guys. You never know. They could be pre-paints, and then we can get their normal versions shortly afterwards. Anti-Venom Task Force is a good. It's kind of like a deep cut, but not, because it was in the 2000s, wasn't it? And I do like when they did those 6-packs, and it was like, here's a random sub team we've just made up. Anti-Venom. There were more, weren't there? There was like Heavy Assault Squad, Desert Patrol Squad. There was loads. So yeah, they could go nuts, couldn't they? Battle Force 2000 would be not necessarily. That would just be like making new figures, but that would be a great. See, I'd love Battle Force 2000, but I know it's one of those ones that's kind of derided a little bit. But I really did enjoy that, because again, they were quite prominent in the UK. You could get those figures anywhere. Desert Patrol Squad has, sorry, you said, I did say that one, but yeah, you mentioned it first. Drug Elimination Force would be awesome. Eco Warriors, again, I'd be well into Eco Warriors. Mega Marines, absolutely. Who knows? Maybe MM means Mega Marines. Ninja Force, definitely. We've already kind of technically had a Storm Shadow Ninja Force, but not. But I'd love Scarlet, Zartan, Snake Eyes. Finally, we need to get that Snake Eyes figure some love. Not a great vintage figure, but a brilliant design and would rock a classified. I saw a custom the other day, stunning custom of that figure. Really, really liked it. Sky Patrol is another good shout. All the chrome and everything. Star Brigade would be expensive, but I think it would be brilliant. And they've got Steel Core already. They're doing Steel Core and Street Fighter 2. That's a good shout. But then again, Street Fighter 2 is being done, isn't it, by multiple other, like Jada have got that at the moment. But again, I if you want, you can just buy the 6-inch Jada figures and mix them in with your classified, and it's like, well, they're from the same thing anyway. They are Joe's. Excuse me. If Airtight doesn't have a receding hairline, we riot. It was cool to see a heroic man with male pattern baldness. Yes, Diana, I love that about Airtight. How he's got the kind of like the what do you call it? I forget what you call it. Widow's Peak, something like that. Anyway, the kind of like the receding hairline kind of job going into the corners. Anyway, I think you're going to see that on Super 7, and they might kind of do it a similar kind of thing with Classified, but I would imagine they just do the helmet, because we've seen that a lot recently. If it's not like a helmet that just goes, Widow's Peak is, thank you. If it's not a helmet that just goes over the head and kind of shows most of the face, it's going to be too big and bulbous, and it might take paint off and all that kind of stuff. So I do kind of expect them to just do a helmet for Airtight. Maybe an alternate head. You never know. I kind of wish they'd done that with Barbecue. My only concern is that, that an alternate head would have been great for this figure. And if they'd had to have done Barbecue as a slightly more, higher price point, so be it. But then give him loads of gear, loads of other gear. Really go to town with the, a ladder, an extendable ladder. How cool would that? Seriously, how cool would that be? Like, the fact that these deluxe boxes can get really big. The Air Chariot, for example, the collapsible ladder would be unreal and open out like really far, and like you could lean it up against things and on the deck, and then oh, come on. That would be sick. I'd be well up for things like that. See, I like the kind of dio building aspect of all this stuff as well. Thank you, Diana. I would look. Yes, Leslie. I want to see Red Shadows. 100%. 100%. I think you never know. We've already seen Super 7 dip into that with Red Laser recently, so I would not be surprised if Classified did that at some point eventually. Yes, Darren, I believe so. I think Airtight would look similar to his 30th or Renegades figure, totally. Hello, Grant. I'm good. How are you, sir? Which do you expect to be repainted first? Slaughter's Marauders Falcon and Spirit, or Night Force Falcon and Tunnel Rat or Outback? Oh, I would say there's a Night Force listing that we don't know who it is. It's a redeco. So I would say, just because we know that, before we know any Slaughter's Marauders redecos, I would suggest that it's going to be a Night Force redeco based on the information we have at hand currently. Now, would it be Falcon, Tunnel Rat, or Outback? Because that's what redeco means. It means a figure already released in the line getting a redeco. It could be that they're adding someone new to the line. Could be. Or it's more likely they're doing one of those three that you've just mentioned: Falcon, Tunnel Rat, or Outback. Tunnel Rat isn't out yet, and we've already seen his digital render for his regular version. So I would imagine that in terms of time and the way that these things kind of operate, I would suggest that Tunnel Rat is probably off the cards for that right this second. And then if you take into consideration Falcon and Outback, Falcon has had they've both had recent releases in the same wave, in actual fact. So either of those could very well be up for the next deco hit. Falcon only has one figure, Outback has two already. Will that come into it? Possibly. But will also the fact that maybe Falcon wasn't well received by the majority of, the fandom, would a Night Force version give him would give anyone any more reason to buy him? I don't think so. I don't think so. So personally, I'd have to say I think it would probably be. I'm gonna I'm gonna come back a little bit. I'm gonna say Tunnel Rat because I think someone's mentioned it there. Darren's mentioned it there. It could be Tunnel Rat because we did get Bazooka and Outback very quickly after their original versions, and the bats. Don't forget the bats. The bats were revealed at the same time, weren't they? The bat, regular bat, and then the Python Patrol one. So there's no rules necessarily, but I think when I just look at it from a logical perspective, I feel like it's probably going to be Falcon, even though it could be detrimental to keep re-releasing that figure without making any serious changes to it. But also, like Outback, I think would be a great Night Force figure. And I don't, we've had how many roadblocks? I'll have as many Outbacks as they're given out. Eco Warriors. I know it was Battle Core, but it was originally intended for Eco Warriors. Who else? How many other things? Oh, the survival one from the zombie initiative set. What else has he had? He's had more, hasn't he? I want to say there was that cookies and cream one that everyone talks about, the unreleased one that was going to be with the mobile command center. But I doubt they'd go that deep. That'd be kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it? Anyway, anywho, thank you, Grant, for your question. That's a good question. It's a difficult one as well. Leslie, Arctic Patrol Barbecue, anyone? Yes, please. That'd be dope, wouldn't it? This figure in like kind of white and like off blue, like pastel blues and stuff. Oh, that'd be sweet. I'd be well up for an Arctic barbecue that would shoot fire to warm everyone up. Rachel wants to see Ninja Force. So bad. Honestly, Rachel, Ninja Force would be incredible. I'd love all of the Ninja Force figures, definitely. Including that Night Creeper. Oh, the pink Night Creeper. Yes, please. Desert Camouflage Barbecue would be pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. Agreed. Sky Commandos, Jeremy. That's random. But yeah, we do need some, don't we? Are they air commandos? Air commandos? Have I gone crazy and just completely forgotten? I think of what's the word? When you met the Mandela effect. I thought they were air commandos, but that's probably because I'm getting confused with air raiders and Sky Patrol kind of combined. But yeah, I know what you mean with the gliders and everything. Yeah, like Spirit and who else was in the gliders? Completely forgotten. Altitude was in the Battlecopters, wasn't he? Anyway, Major. Can't remember. Fake fan. Pork chop sandwich would have been funny, James. Yeah, I'll have that. Hit that like button. Yes, thank you, Chaz. Appreciate that. I'm going to put it on the screen so people can see it as well as hear it. Hit that like button. Hit it on Facebook or the react, whatever reaction you want to use. If you're upset with me right now, that's fine. If you're angry with me, if you hate me, that's fine too. And yeah, if you're on YouTube, definitely give us a like. That would be very much appreciated. You don't have to, of course, but it would be very much appreciated. Sorry. Primateer, I can't read that. I don't know why. Primateer ladder, no, is what you were saying on that one. I thought it'd be really cool. Like you see the in the training, the fire kind of train, the crazy ridiculous ones with the assault course, and they all have to leg it with a really long ladder, slam it into the ground, flip it up to the wall, and then go up there really quick. That's what I want to see this guy. I want to see Barbecue doing that. Yes, Darren, yeah, could be Tunnel Rat, definitely. Oh, that's a good shout. Plague and Wolf Squad. Yeah, because Wolf Squad kind of came about the 50th, didn't it? Or thereabouts. And hasn't really been, hasn't been kind of revisited since. So yeah, I'll definitely be up for a bit of Wolf Squad building. Team building, that's what it's called. Jason says, I think Falcone looks like a young John Wayne. Yeah, with a much, much bigger head. But yeah, definitely. Grant says, yeah, also reason I thought of classified Night Force Tunnel Rat is that it'd be a similar vein to TF Bazooka being released before the regular version. Yeah, like pre-paints. But the fact we've seen the digital render kind of negates that a little bit. But it's not to say that it won't happen, Grant. But that is a perfectly, logical assumption to come to, definitely. Highly articulated says they can't borrow tooling from a figure in production, but it seems entirely possible they could just change the color of plastic and make 2 runs of the same entire figure. Yes. Yes. Or like they run it and then they make the exact same figure, and then halfway through the process they just change the deco on it. Yeah, absolutely. That makes so. It's an easy thing, definitely an easier thing, 100%, than mixing and matching parts. Logistical nightmare. Darren says Sky Patrol. Night Force Bazooka, says Tomato Bob Sponge. I like that one. Night Force Bazooka would be so cool. Actually, Night Force Bazooka, now that you say that, has actually made me really excited when you think about what they could do with that jersey. Like a black jersey with like green stripes and numbers on it would be cool, wouldn't it? Or that kind of teal blue. Or you could look at like a team that has, I suppose, like maybe Carolina. Do they have black and kind of teal? Or has it changed since? I can't remember, but I think Carolina Panthers had that kind of black with teal. But I think that would be really cool. I'm obviously not going to be a Carolina Panthers fan, but I'd like them to play up with the jerseys and everything. I think that'd be so dope. Skymate and Cloudburst, says Darren. Yeah, definitely. Well, with the other figures in the Air Commandos. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. Skymate and Cloudburst were actually genius as well, because obviously Australian, one of them, Skymate. And those 2 figures, I really loved them when they came out in the club, when the club did them as exclusives as well. They were great. Yeah, cool. Gaz says, Pat will hate me, but if we get another barbecue, I'd like a little fire effect, especially if it's an Arctic redeco. Nice contrast with the fire. That's another thing, isn't it? Yeah, like a fire blast effect. Do you know what? I'm an idiot. Why didn't I think of bringing a blast effect or 12 with me today to kind of poke in his little gun thing? I know it's not the same, but yeah, you could have they should do a foam one, shouldn't they? Definitely. See, they could have done a deluxe barbecue with lots of different like flame effects, and like I said, the ladder, even though I was told no on the ladder, and that's fine. It's really just, I love little dio pieces and stuff like that, and a little working collapsible ladder I think would be quite kind of fun. But then if you had loads of other stuff, like, I don't know, like the different blast effects that came out, the foam shooting thing out of the end of the gun. In actual fact, I have an Inferno Masterpiece figure that has like a jet of very suspicious looking fluid that I would love to try in this. It might be too heavy and big, and the port might be different, but I want to give that a try. Has anyone tried that? Let me know in the comments if you tried the Inferno kind of water blast effect from the Masterpiece figure in there. I'll have to, because I did a video on that years ago, so I'm going to actually watch that to see what the port looks like. Anyway, thanks, Gaz. Pat will not hate you. He just hates himself sometimes. Grant says, I'd love to see Plague in the classified line too, especially Guillotine, Blackout, and Interrogator. 100% yes. Munitia as well, I think, was really dope in the Plague. Oh, it is Air Patrol. I just said Air Patrol like an idiot, Jeremy. I did the opposite of you. You're right. I mixed Sky Patrol and Air Commandos. My bad, lol. Yes, Air Commandos, not a problem. I just thought I'd gone mad. I thought I'd become a fake fan. When you just like, who's Flint? Never heard of him. I'm just kidding. You can enjoy this. You can enjoy this fandom as much, whenever way you want to. You can enjoy this brand however you want to. There's no, there are obviously different levels, but it doesn't matter, does it? Who cares? Hopefully no one cares, because I've just tripped up about 12 times, and I'm a study of this for years. It's hard to know. It's hard to know everything, and there's a lot of stuff I do not know off the top of my head. I'll do research on it. I'll be able to do research on it because I know what I'm looking for, but at the same time, I don't know everything. Highly Articulated says, Bat, CG, Barbecue, Outback, and Bazooka have all had 2 versions relatively close together. Yes. So it could very well be that Tunnel Rat is a Night Force redeco, even though we've only seen the digital render of it. What I was getting at is, because just usually based on the time frames, with digital renders, you see the figure physically, and then you see the repaint, like in that short period of time. with digital renders, there's usually a longer time before we start even seeing listings for these things. So that's all I'm getting at. But yes, you're 100% right. All of those figures have had 2 versions relatively close together. In terms of the bat, like 12 versions already. James Kerr says, with Big Ben coming out, what are the chances of the rest of Action Force getting figures? I don't know. Hard to say, isn't it? Because I think because Big Ben's technically G.I. Joe anyway, so they can they can do that. Not a problem. I mean, they can do any character. They've got the IP for it. They can do any character name or what have you. So I think the fact that we've got that gas mask with Big Ben, and it kind of looks a little bit like Eagle. I could either see people doing loads of customs, or I could see them doing a figure for Eagle, calling it Eagle, and being like the first figure since his 5-point of articulation figure, and just being like really excited to do that. But the other thing is you've got to think what are the most popular ones, because they're not going to do someone like Eagle necessarily over something like Red Laser or Red Jackal. But Red Jackal is effectively just Destro. It's very, very similar. At least with Cobra Commander, perhaps they could do a repaint of the retro Cobra Commander as Red Laser. Maybe change the helmet up a little bit to give it differences and textures, and the eyes could be separate from the lower mouthpiece. So kind of really play along with that rather than just do a repainted Cobra Commander head. So they could do something like that, but I think they'd do it with something like that before they did any other of the kind of deep cut characters. But yeah, I could see it happening. I could see them doing those and having a different, group of bad guys at the end of the day. Definitely. Darren said, similar to the NFL salute to service jerseys on Bazooka would be cool. Is that? I haven't seen that particular jersey, Darren. You'll have to send me it. Could you send me an image of it? I know you're on my messagey thing. Just message me an image, because I'd love to see what I could search it myself, but I'm just being lazy, and I've got other things to do at the moment. But just let me know what it looks like, because I'd like to see if it works for Night Force or something. Jeremy, wasn't the 50th Bazooka with blue jersey unofficially Night Force? No, in actual fact, that was supposed to be, or was intended to be, a Tiger Force figure, but at the last minute they changed their minds because the club were doing Tiger Force, and they decided to change the deco and just make it a random blue color instead. So there was no connection to Night Force there. The Night Force actually is the the shooter 3-pack with Falcon and Outback. It's kind of called the Special Forces 3-pack. That's kind of a nod to Night Force, where they just painted them all black to get away with keeping the deco countdown for the cost. That was effectively the Night Force set, and that's why Shooter's in the Night Force for Classified, effectively, which is kind of a fun little anecdote that links them together, I think. And obviously, we don't know officially that Shooter's in the Night Force, but we do because of the listings that came out, the leaked listings. But yeah, Jeremy, it was technically the Dusty and the Bazooka was supposed to be Tiger Force, and they changed their minds when the club did that, basically. Ryan, I agree. Classic Tiger Force and Listen and Fun Tripwire all at the same time. Oh my god, I would be so into that. So into that. Both of those decos are incredible, aren't they? In fact, throw in the Fun School one, because I love that deco too. Tripwire has probably the best lineup of repaints. You've got Blades in SAS Force for Palatoy. You've got Tripwire. You've got Tiger Force Tripwire. You've got Listen and Fun Tripwire, which is just bonkers. And then you've got the Fun School one. It's like a incredible rainbow of ridiculous color schemes. I'm all over Tripwire. 100% love him in all those color schemes. The reaction figure of Bazooka is pretty cool. Is that the one with the kind of winter jacket on, Tometto? Because I do like that a lot. I think that's a really cool, that's where I think obviously that line kind of excels in all the things that you're never going to see elsewhere, that are just kind of fun Sunbow kind of interpretations. That's what I love about the reaction line. I'd love it if they did more of the kind of vehicle things, the bobsled, but then if they did things like, I don't know, like like the sports cars, like that Flint drives, or the one that's the Spy Who Rooked Me drives, or the van, from the Saturn's Band is what I'm trying to think of. So like those kind of things would be kind of really fun to do, especially if they worked with O-Ring too. I'd be well into that. Grant, what are your thoughts concerning recent information about the new Snake Eyes game? With how game development is, I wouldn't be surprised if the game isn't released until 2024 to 2026. Well, they started technically, the development clock started on January 2022. We are now a year and a bit in. I would always give those kind of things, if they're going to be done right, minimum of 3 years. Minimum. Like, anything less than that, and it's probably not going to be, it's going to be a bit rushed. And I think, I would say 2025, maybe late 24, early 25. If they get it done and it's, it's passable or acceptable. If they want to do it right, then 2025, 2026 is what I would expect as well, Grant. But a lot of the storyline, a lot of the concepts and all that kind of stuff were done prior, but then the development clock literally started ticking January 2022. So it's still a little early in that process, but I think we're going to get more information going forward than we had. We went radio silent for ages, didn't it? Firefly says, what Target exclusives do I think will be released? I find it hard to believe they'll only release the TF Dusty and Python Patrol Crimson Guard. I imagine, because we've had a couple here and there for a little while, I imagine there'll be like another, I imagine there'll be another figure in that kind of wave, but you never know. I've only seen listings for those particular two in and around the same time period. There might be other listings, but they're further along in the process. Hint, hint. But I would imagine that you'll get these two and then maybe a couple more by the end of the year. I don't know, just as a guess, Firefly. But I'm going to throw it out there, but like Flint, Roadblock, those two I think are very easy repaints. And then you've got all the characters that haven't really been done at all yet, like Lifeline and anyone else in there. There's a few, but that haven't been done at all and could be like a pre-paint kind of scenario. Totally. Adam, I don't see a great chance of them doing a lot of kind of like deep cut Palatoy Action Force, honestly. I don't see them doing a lot of it. I could see, again, Super 7, that's definitely their domain. But for Hasbro and Classified, they will stick to the real, if it's going to be a little deep kind of homage to, like Tiger Force Outback, is because that figure's global. There was Forastero in South America, and that figure kind of was famous throughout the world anyway, just for how ridiculous it is with a kitty shirt. So that was one of the reasons I think they went with that particular figure. In terms of deeper cuts, like UK exclusives, like the Spirit repaint, the Mutt repaint, very unlikely, but it would be cool. And then you're looking at things like the rest of the European Tiger Force probably on the table, because again, they kind of are more global, and of course we've got the precedent with them coming out in the line with the club, so there's a little bit more backing with that, whereas the kind of Palatoy stuff hasn't got that backing necessarily in the history. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. They're going to be careful with it, I think, is what I'm getting at. I would love to see October Guard, says James. You're probably going to have to wait a while for October Guard, James, just based on the climate, the political climate. I think as soon as, I can't really see an end to it, especially with Classified is going to come to an end before I think things change in this kind of arena. But they might do it, might call it something different. They might do the characters and call it a different name and have them from a different country, maybe even make them Ukraine. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I don't necessarily see them jumping to do that just yet. Right. I'm going to bring this to a close now, but before I go, we'll just transition and then we'll do all the the last bits, all of his comments, and then we'll have a little kind of summary, and then I'll peace out. So little transition first. I swear that's just for me, just so I can put my name on the screen. It's ridiculous, I know. Right, so anyway, before I get to the comments, we have been looking at this wonderful barbecue figure, and I absolutely love him. Love the deco hits. We are like, in summary, we'll say, because it is very summary at the moment. Beautiful deco. Really like what they've done with the figure. Again, a fantastic original figure, and I love both of these. But these are like proper desk forever jobs, I think. And again, like all of the kind of gear he comes with is exactly as you expect. The backpack lines up deco wise with the top of his gear, which I didn't notice before, but that does make sense now, I've come to think of it. Now, there are differences with the bigger axe having more of a kind of metal kind of surface area, and this smaller axe is a darker plastic, ever so slightly darker plastic than the original. And on top of that, the gun and hose, I think, are exactly the same in terms of the original figure. The other things I will mention that I think are the only low points on this figure, genuinely, are the lack of tampos, aka decals, for the, let's say, the triangle warning sticker above the other four. Are they the same, those four? I think they are. Just have a quick look. They look ever so slightly different, you know. There's a difference on these, and it's the top right one is almost completely different. Can you see it? So the top right on each, there must be a better way to do this. There we go. The top right one of the four are completely different from the, I say completely different. It's about an axe cutting into something, but the images are different, which is interesting. So there is a little bit of change going on there, which is cool. And I should have noticed that before, but they are very different, those two. In fact, all of them look slightly different in some way, which is interesting. So they've redone that tampo, I believe, which is kind of cool. Okay, so they've redone the tampo, but they've missed out the triangle. Okay, which is a shame. They've also cut the tampo on the front of the oxygen tank on his chest, so you don't have that green dial on there anymore. And they cut the arm, the bicep kind of logo tampo as well on this one. So I will say that I think this figure could be improved with, one, an alternate helmetless head, which I think would have been great. And again, probably goes more towards some sort of deluxe release. The lack of tampos is a little disturbing. Sorry, your lack of tampos, etc., etc. I would so kind of suggest that I wish they kind of just done them, because the green would go well on there. The silver one wouldn't have looked out of place on his arm there. It goes with the rest of the kind of the blade and the axe and everything. And the tampo on the back would have been fine, like the warning triangle. So I kind of think cutting back on some of those was it's not a big deal, but I wish they'd done that. But in terms of the actual figure and how he looks, beautiful. Love the deco, love the figure. And yeah, this is going to get some enjoyment, trust me. Now, what are we saying in the comments for the last couple of minutes? To me, Snake Eyes sounds promising, and I hope the game will be good. I really want them to do him justice with it, and make sense that he will be the focal point, as he's one of the poster boys for G.I. Joe. Yeah, if you listen to or if you read the interview from Ames Kirshen, the GM of Atomic Arcade, who is developing the game, which is, by the way, a studio specifically for G.I. Joe computer games, by the way. It's nothing else, just for G.I. Joe computer games. I'm not sure if you missed that detail, but that's how impressive that is. So I'm excited that they put so much towards it, and I hope they commit fully and just get it done, and get it done well, because I think it would be freaking awesome to get a game that is like top tier, AAA, etc., but for the G.I. Joe brand. I think it'd be so good. So yeah, so they're also developing other games too, for G.I. Joe, I guess, as well in that space. But at the moment, it's just getting that one done, in it. Let's face it. 25 team development group or team. So yeah, excited is what I would say. And if you read the interview with Ames Kirshen, he does say like they use Snake Eyes because of obviously all of the tools at his disposal. You know, you can really build, like, you know, you can really get into all, because he's a ninja and he's a commando, and he, you know, he just does everything. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it. Hello, Anthony. How you doing, buddy? How are you doing? Better than I'm doing. Great, thanks. Ed says Bomb Squad tripwire for life. The Fun School one, absolutely. Ed, love it. Absolutely love that figure. Ryan says, do you know if Hasbro is planning weekly stream events in June this year, or was that just for the 40th last year? Don't know what their plans are for this Yojo June, but I imagine it will be a similar deal where they do one major event or maybe two major events and lots of little kind of, you know, little ones here dotted around here and there. I imagine they will up the ante for Yojo June 100%. And they've kind of made it difficult for themselves by doing so much in those previous years. So yeah, I imagine they will, Ryan, but I don't have a plan. I don't have information about that. And honestly, I don't even have information about that anyway. I think that usually is something they definitely keep to themselves. We might know a little bit in advance if an event is coming up, but we never know what their plans are in that regard. We have to do a lot of detective work a lot of the time, mate. But yeah, just to give you a heads up on that, it's not like we get like it's not they send us this stuff. They don't send us a list of this stuff. We get the kind of journalist kind of email that they send out, the press release email that everyone else does at the same time, usually after the event. So yeah, that's when we know. But I would expect maybe one or two major lives and then a bunch of little Instagram kind of shows and stuff. Rachel says the new game would miss the 60th anniversary push. If it waited until 2025, I would think 2024 would be their target. Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, yeah. I was about to say 2024 is the anniversary, but yeah, you're right. No, I get what you're saying on that one, Rachel, but I think at the same time, you kind of doesn't matter with a computer game. Like, if it's not ready, it ain't ready. And also, if they do push it out, they'd just be shooting themselves in the foot. You know, like the line's been the line doesn't really need an anniversary at the moment to give it the attention. Like, Classified's doing kind of like a pretty immense job, and if they can get some other media out that wasn't as intense, like, because I'm sure like an animated series is no way near as much goes into that as a computer game. Not saying it's easier to do in terms of time. They could get it done in a quicker period of time, is what I'm saying. But yeah, like I do think that you have a point that, you know, there would be that kind of great opportunity to strike while the iron's hot, when eyes are on it and all that kind of stuff. But again, a G.I. Joe AAA computer game, I think, would be pretty awesome at any point. But I definitely get what you're saying, and it definitely would make marketing sense, wouldn't it? Frostbite, Sky Striker for Tiger Force. Yes, the figure 6-pack. Good shouts. Sky Striker's a good one, because then we'd get like a Wild Weasel eventually, wouldn't we? And a Thunder somehow. And yeah, Frostbite without the Tiger Cat, or with the Tiger Cat. Let me know. Yeah, there'll be a stream in June, definitely, Diana. Yeah. No wheels, Ed, I'm afraid. No Action Force wheels in 2024. Sorry. The figure 6-pack says, I have a Marauders barbecue box. Now I have to open mine. You do. This thing is gorgeous and it's brilliant. Look how awesome he looks in this deco, man. Like, oh, I love all the details as well. Like, again, you do see the details in the original because of the grays, and like, it's not black, it's like a kind of light gray, isn't it? But, you know, in the blue, it's really nice, man. I love it. Grant says, I'm surprised there hasn't been a modern version of Cobra's Scalpel or the Mediviper, not even any done in the Collectors Club. Hopefully we could see them in the future of Classified. Yeah, we've only had lab rats, haven't we? No medical kind of, you know, Cobras. Scalpel and the Mediviper would be great for Classified, in actual fact. Yeah, definitely. Would love that. Anthony, good shout. Marvel Legends, Johnny Stormhead, hair painted red, excellent unmasked barbecue. That's a great shout, actually. What does the head work with the old netball? That's a good question as well. But thank you for that, Anthony. I'll have a look for Oh, the plastic of the axe is softer also, says Jay Solo Arts. I didn't even check that. Let me just double check that. I'll leave that on the screen. Thank you, Jay. I'm just going to give that a quick test. Oh, these two are pretty solid, actually. It's hard to tell. So that one's got like no give. That's the original. And this one has got, yeah, it's got some give, but I wouldn't even say that's flexible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying. Maybe you mean the other smaller axe. Oh, no, I see what you mean. The handle. Yeah, so the handle on this one is solid, but the handle on this one is wibbly wobbly. Yeah, I see what you're saying now, Jay. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of like gaslight you there. No, you're totally right on that one. 100%. Thanks for pointing it out, because now I can mention it on here and take full credit. I'm just joking. But yeah, that's great. Thanks for letting me know that. I'm just going to leave that there because I can't be bothered to put it back in his hand. Right. Eco Force Barbecue. Yes, please. And thank you, Tomato. Yes, I'd be all over that. All over it. Ninja Gaiden with snake eyes. I hope that is the game, honestly. That'd be wicked. Jeremy wants a G.I. Joe dating simulator. Amazing. Brilliant. I can't, there's nothing else to say about that. Sorry, James. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden with snake eyes would be a great crossover, wouldn't it? And the Figure Six-Pack says, any other news coverage for the San Diego Comic Con Joe exclusives this year? The only thing we know at the moment is that the listings were leaked for the SDCC Chuckles. So Chuckles will be an SDCC exclusive by the sounds of things. It says with Armory. That's interesting. I can't wait to see what that means. But yeah, no new information on that one Figure Six-Pack I'm aware of anyway. There's something broken in the background while we've been doing this? Possibly. News has been coming thick and fast this week. The weekly, Pat and I are going to be talking for months. There's so much to talk about. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today for this unboxing. I will call it a day today right now. So we'll have Outback next, and hopefully, I think tomorrow is probably off the cards because we've got to record another monthly with Justin and Pat. So we'll be doing that. That's a Night Force themed monthly, obviously to coincide with the leaked listings a couple of weeks ago. I'll get to that, Diana. I will get to that in a second. So we are going to be talking to Brian Flynn in April after the reveal of the April 1st reveal, which is so much fun. You guys are going to absolutely, you're going to love it. It's hilarious. I love it. I love it. Love it. So yeah, April 1st reveal, which is on Saturday. I don't know how that's going to work with the weekly. I'm hoping the information is out in time and I can get something done, you know, in time to get the weekly done. But what will most likely happen is we'll do the weekly. The news will break the minute we finish, and I'll have to do a news burst as well, because that's how life goes, isn't it, with this kind of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll be back with Outback soon, maybe over the weekend, but more than likely next week. Outback and CoverGirl, we'll try and get them done next week. And then, like I said, we've got the monthly coming, which is a Night Force one for April. We've got Brian Flynn interview in April, but it's going to be after they've done all their reveals for not just the April 1st, hopefully for the Ultimates reveal as well. We're going to try and time it so it's after that release. And as well as that, we've also got a Hasbro interview lined up with Emily and Lenny. Again, I say lined up. We are in discussions of when to do it currently. So it will be happening very soon, but it will 100% be happening. And we've even got a couple of cool things already lined up in what we're going to talk about in terms of like, not reveals necessarily, but kind of like little anecdotes about some of the new latest reveals. So there's a lot of cool stuff to be had in that interview anyway, as soon as we do it. Right then, I'll keep you all up to date with what's going on. Don't you worry. I'll probably have news bursts to do later as well. I say that like, honestly, it'd be great to have some time just to get my head straight on some of this stuff, but it is like churning it out all the time. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I much prefer this than the lean years we've had in the past, definitely. So look out for all those things I just mentioned. Thanks for joining me, guys. Appreciate all of the great comments and all of the questions and everything. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. So you know what to do at the end of all these episodes. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Full force. And I'm not going anywhere until I see it in the comments. So I'm just going to sit here in silence. Impossible. I can't sit there in silence. As no one's going to write it, are they? No one's going to write full force. And I'm just going to be sitting here for another hour holding Barb. Thank you, Diana. Brilliant. Right. Take care, guys. See you later.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.